Patrick, hit us with some stats, won't you?
All right, Dying of Light was released December 5th, 2014. It had a budget of $5 million and made $74,639. But it was released direct to video. So again, I don't know exactly where those numbers come from. I guess it's, physical media sales or maybe rental purchases.
Probably, yeah.
It was directed by Paul Schrader, the legendary Paul Schrader, one of our favorites after Dog Eat Dog. Just, to be fair, I really feel like we've seen two of the worst Paul Schrader films in existence. I don't know. I really do feel like it would be an interesting exercise to do all of the Paul Schrader films in this format, but that's for us 10 years from now or whatever when we get really bored.
When we come out of retirement.
When we reach Paul Schrader's age.
What are you talking about? We're the same age.
We jump on Facebook
reached that point in our careers as he's
express our opinions on things that we really shouldn't be expressing our opinions on.
I really think, I gotta say, if I had to list my top 10 podcasts, ours would be number 1.
Yeah, Paul Schrader just named his top movies of 2021.
Yes,
and he put his own movie as number 1.
He put the card counter as the
card counter. I gotta say, it was the best one of them all.
So that's the first collaboration between Scorsese and Paul Schrader since Bringing Out the Dead. So I'm kind of excited to see it. Bringing Out the Dead, I feel like, is the one that's not the greatest out of those collaborations. Even though, it's an okay movie. It's just not, it's not Taxi Driver or Raging Bull or Last Temptation of Christ, This was, of course, written by Paul Schrader as well. This is where it differs from Dog Eat Dog, because Dog Eat Dog was technically written by someone else, and Paul Schrader just kind of peppered in a few changes and added a few things to it. So the responsibility for this masterpiece falls squarely on Paul Schrader's shoulders. Though we'll get to it, there was some major interference with the studio, so much so that... like we said in the opening, this was publicly disowned by Paul Schrader and Nic Cage and Anton Yelchin. Yeah. It was shot by Gabriel Kosith. I've been editing the National Treasure episode, and I completely, one of the people, two of the names I completely got wrong. Like the celeb thing was Caleb, and then Mayan... whatever, the co-writer.
Bialik.
There's Cormac and Wibberley.
Yeah.
Her name is Marianne. I just wrote her wrong. So if I screw up any of these, just know it's been a long week.
We're losing viewers because of your inaccuracy here.
So Gabriel Kosith, I'll get into it in the quick facts. He publicly went forward and also disowned this film because he shot it very specifically with an idea in mind that was thrown out in the edit for how the color grade affected different scenes, and different experiences that the characters were going through. And he was not happy with what they did. He is among his many credits are the non-Christopher Walken prophecy movies, which there are 3 Walken prophecy movies, and then I think there's 2 other sequels after that. Yeah, believe it or not, and also Hellraiser 8.
Oh, the best of that.
Yeah,
which was called Hell World. Yeah. Didn't even know there were 8 Hellraisers.
There's more than that, I think.
Oh my God. And then Return of the Living Dead Part 5. Rave to the Grave.
Which was, I didn't know there were that many Return of the Living Dead movies.
Yeah, there's a bunch, man.
3.
Yeah, there's a ton.
All better than the last one.
That would be the
Rave to
best.
the grave is the top. Edited by Tim Solano, who has also worked on a handful of Schrader films. I don't believe he worked on Dog Eat Dog, but he had worked on like the last 2 or 3 that Schrader had done. But he has actually got a pretty big track record as an assistant editor or associate editor. He worked on Uncle Buck, Home Alone 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Apollo 13. So he's got some street cred. But as a full-time...
Now, this is the editor. Is this the editor that Paul Schrader had picked, or is this the editor the studio picked to edit the movie, the final edit?
I believe he was kind of forced into re-editing. I'm not sure if he was the original choice to edit. Paul Schrader obviously...
If he's in the credits, he was the studio editor, the final editor, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. But Paul Schrader edited his version, his Dark, which is the we'll get to it, but the redone version of this movie in the style that Paul Schrader originally wanted the movie to be. You know, how he wanted it to look, how he wanted it to feel. I think he even changed the music, everything. So, and then the music was done by Frederick Wiedmann, who has also worked on Vengeance: A Love Story and 211, those 2 Nic Cage movies that we will get to 20 years from now at some point. And then he also did The Scorpion King 5, Tremors 7, and then he did a lot of direct-to-video DC animated films, which some of those are a little
probably the
bit
best out of the bunch.
cooler.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd watch any of those over Tremors 7 or Scorpion King 5.
Who knew? Like Hellraiser 8?
This is
Return of the
clearly
Living
top
Dead
talent.
5.
Top talent that they got working on this.
Who knew there were 5 Scorpion Kings, too? God.
Not The Rock.
Why?
He's not in any of them.
No. I think his final
was
run
one and
as
done.
the return, or the first one, that
Yeah.
was the only thing he ever was in.
What a shame.
Rotten Tomatoes gave this lovely film an 11%, which is surprisingly high. But 4.1 out of 10 on 37 reviews.
Oh, man.
The audience score, not much better, 15%. Metacritic gave it a 31. IMDb gave it a 4.5 out of 10, and it did not get a cinema score since it did not go to theaters, which, by the way, I did some research. Nigel, you're 100% right. What they do is they send out surveys to 5 different theaters for a movie as it's released, and then it's, they don't selectively choose one place or another. They just pick 5 cities at random, and then they just pick one theater at random, and they give everybody a cinema scorecard, and they say what they would rate it, A to F. And so somebody said that A is good, B is really tepid, and C or lower is basically the movie shouldn't have been made at all.
Yeah.
So if you purposely, because this is people who went to purposely watch the movie, and if you go to purposely watch a movie and you give it an F, that's not a good thing.